Have you ever thought about how a toucan's beak is basically the shape of a banana? I was talking about this with my significant other earlier today, just thinking about like how a toucan's beak is just like super weirdly shaped in comparison to most birds. However, a lot of birds have some very weirdly shaped beaks. Anyways, this has nothing to do with the video today. Hello, everybody. This is That Manga Dude with another episode of the FVI, also known as the First Volume Impressions, where I get to talk about a first volume or a one-shot of a series, and you get to hear my first thoughts about it and how if I think it's definitely worth a pickup or if not. I've done quite a few of these by this point, and there's really only been like one that I was not so hot about, which if you want to go and watch it, go and check it out. Yeah, I guess you'll just have to watch them all to figure it out. But this one is probably going to be the shortest one that I've ever done, and I'll get into it why. It's not because it's bad. It's actually just because there's not a ton to talk about for the three topics that I usually talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's go! So, this original manga series was published back in 2018 by, I believe it was Shogakukan? Ah, gosh. I always forget how to pronounce the name. Okay, Shogakukan, yeah. So that was originally produced in 2018 and was brought to the United States, or I guess English publishing, by Denpa. So this will be my first Denpa release that I'm going to be reviewing, and that is, let's get into it, Baby Bear's Bakery by Kamentotsu. This is part one of, I don't know how many parts because I didn't research that part because I want to keep myself surprised. But this is a very interesting slice of life comedy series. It's a type of 4-koma, aka it's like one of those 4-panel comics where they have like, it's basically secluded stories with one another right from the top to the bottom, and usually changes throughout pages, but not always. So yeah, let's get into the cover review. So this is a amazing release by Denpa. I really love this like cardboard like type of cover that they used, and I also like the flaps because you get to see this really cute art on the front here and also in the back as well. And yeah, it's a really nice cover. I really like how it's displayed on the shelf here with the spine. And then the back has one of my favorite fonts, and I don't know what it is. If you know what it is, please let me know. I don't know fonts very well, so please don't ask me. But to go into detail about how this was brought to the English release, we have our translator, which is John Mitsuko Cash, our proofreader, which is Patrick Sutton, our production, which was Nicole Dochik, I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly, and Mo Harrison, and last but not least, the original cover design by Naoko Nakui. So, let's go right into the characters and the story. So, there isn't much to the characters, at least for like what it is, because like I said, this is a comedy slice of life, and there's not necessarily an overarching story per se. It's really just like little bits and pieces of their lives. But our two characters that we mostly see are these two characters on the front, and that's going to be our baby bear. He owns a bakery, as the name suggests, and he is super funny, unbelievably funny. I was laughing so hard throughout many parts of the series just because he's a baby bear, he really doesn't understand a lot about life, I guess you could say. So he's just unbelievably charming, and of course he just looks super cute, so you gotta love him. And then we have the waiter character, or the human character. I don't think they ever say his name, and if they do, I'm so sorry if I missed it. But yeah, he's also just really funny. He's kind of like the person who helps the baby bear understand the world of humans and understand the world of baking and all this stuff. And it's just really great because like the baby bear is a fantastic baker, but not necessarily understands how people work or how anything human works. And then the main character, or the human character, is basically like the stabilizer. However, he doesn't know how to necessarily bake, but he does end up helping and working for the baby bear. So they just have a really nice chemistry with one another. It's like a kind of like a cute, like almost like parent and child, but also like kind of like brothers in a way. I don't know how to explain their relationship in like the best way, but it's unbelievably cute and super charming, and you'll fall for it immediately. They are just the best. So, as I said, the story, there's not a lot to that story here, just because, like, it's the baby bear owns a bakery. This guy ends up coming often, and then he ends up working for him. And, yeah, it's about their stories as two bakers who run this bakery. So, like I said, there's not anything, like, that pushes the story forward, per se. There are just little tidbits of their lives, and I enjoy it. I think it's great. I think it's really nice to have like a series that you can just chillax and just read through, laugh your butt off, and not have to think too much. And I do appreciate it, and I think it's great for those reasons. So, yeah, like I mentioned, that's why this episode's probably going to be short because, like I said, the characters are very straightforward. The story is very straightforward, so there's not a lot to dissect here in terms of that. But yeah, just know that they are very well done. So let's go into the art. And if you could not tell from the cover, the art is absolutely adorable. It's super charming. There's just something about the overly realistic baby bear, and then how every other character is very stylized and like this very like dotted eye, very simple stuff. And then I love the use of yellow as like a what's it called? Kind of like a contrast with the dark black. And I just love everything about it. There's just it's so great. I even like saved some of the pages that I really enjoyed that I'll show now. So page 9 had a really nice comedy part to it. There's just something hilarious about how everything's written, how all the art is done. It's just super funny too. I mean, I don't know. I love it so much. Like, I think this is probably one of the most iconic, or one of the ones that people have seen the most of Baby Bear's Bakery, just because this is a hilarious panel, or like page of the 4-koma. I don't know. There's something that's just absolutely wonderful about it. It does a lot of things well. The character designs are great. The line art is heavy and also really light in certain spots. Really helps the characters to pop out from the very simple backgrounds. Yeah, and I just like the use of perspective too. Like, you always get an idea that this baby bear is super small in comparison to everything else. So there's just a nice use of like perspective, and then also just stylizing in terms of like dark and light. And yeah, I just really appreciate it, and I think it's just really solid. So, to go into my final thoughts, like I said, this is going to be a short one. But honestly, just because this review is short does not mean that this series is not good. Honestly, this is a remarkable read. I read it in like probably a half an hour. It would be a great read if you have children or if you have people who like you like reading to. This is honestly a great story to read to because there's nothing negative or nothing that I would say that like I would warn against for kids. Probably one of the easiest to pick up and read for anybody. There's not a lot of hard words to understand. So yeah, I just think this is a really great manga for just about any age group, any demographic. Definitely worth pickup, in my opinion. If you don't like slice of life or if you don't like 4-koma, of course, you might be taking a risk. However, I do think, for me, I'm also not a big fan of 4-koma series, but I think this one is an exception in my book. Anyways, let me know if you have read Baby Bear's Bakery, because I'd love to hear your opinions on it. As you could tell, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited for part 2 whenever that decides to come out. But yeah, let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Yeah, I'm curious as to what other people have said about it, because I've only seen like one other review, I think on Twitter, someone saying that they really enjoyed it, but other than that, it's been radio silence. I also just might not be looking very well because I'm not really great at that. However, yeah, just let me know in the comments. But remember what to do. You can like, comment, favorite, subscribe. I really appreciate any one of those things. And if you made it to the end of this video, I also appreciate it, because that means you watched 8 minutes of me talking about this series, and yeah, that's super cool too. So that's gonna be it. I'll see you in the next FVI. Goodbye.